Alright, I'm on about my 10th video this morning, you guys, so any mistakes I make, I blame it on that. Alright, so when we're multiplying and dividing rational expressions here, all we're going to do is to make sure everything's factored. So anything on top and bottom, factor. When we cancel them, they're no longer equal, they're just equivalent. So remember from yesterday's lesson, when you cancel something out, you've created a whole. So that's why we say it's not equal anymore, because there's a whole difference between them. For the exponents, remember you add exponents when you're going across and you subtract when you're dividing. We'll state the restrictions in a second. So number one, I'm just going to factor my top and bottom. All right, so I get factor, so -6 to get a +5, or I mean -5. Factor your bottom. Those cancel. So my answer is x minus 6 over x minus 1. We'll come back to the restrictions. So right here, go straight across. I'm going to get 60 x5 y7. And that's 36. I thought so. So reduce your fractions, and you should get 5/3 here. And subtract your exponents. This is just going to be a 5/3 because these are positives. So 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. So there you go. So why don't you guys try 3 and 4, pause the video, try it on your own, come back after you've tried it. All right, so we should get what you should have gotten for number 3. I'm going to reduce these first because I don't like big numbers. Okay. Restrictions is just like if they ask you what the domain is. So this one right here, you would just say x couldn't have equaled plus or minus 1 because it makes the 1 and then the whole. So here, x and y both couldn't equal 0 because you were dividing by them. So this one, this is like just if we asked you for the domain. So this is plus and minus 1, and then this is x and y is 0 again. So when we have harder problems like number 5, all we're going to do is to factor even more, and then we'll start canceling out. So I'm going to grab another sheet of paper real quick to factor these off to the side so I don't take up all my room. So this one down here to factor, remember you would multiply your first and your last. So first I'm going to take out a 3x. And that gives me x, oh no, x is gone. It gives me 1 minus 9x squared. So that will be a difference of squares for us. So I'll finish that in a minute. So now to factor the bottom part of it, let me multiply your first and last. And factors of -3 to get -2 would be a -3 and a +1. And group them. 3x and this is a difference of squares. So to factor here, my top is going to be 3x, 1 minus 3x, 1 plus 3x, and then the 3x plus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, sorry, don't know why it is doing that horrible stuff again. My dot camera. All right, so that's this whole side. Now I'm going to factor the right side. So again, you multiply first and last. Factors of 3 to get -4 is going to be a -3 and a -1. So take out 3x. Take out -1. So there's my top. So I'm going to write that right here. 3x minus 1, x minus 1. So once I have it all factored here, we just start canceling. 3x and 3x. 3x plus 1, 3x plus 1. X minus 1, x minus 1. So then your end answer is 1 minus 3x and 3x minus 1. If they asked you what your x's couldn't equal, they would not equal a 0, a 1, and that gives you a negative 1/3. All right, so factor here. This is your AB rule, you guys. A equals 3x, B equals 2. And you plug it into the SOAP formula. So remember, SOAP was match it, so same, opposite, always positive. This term is still right here over 1. So this term and this term are the exact same, so they cancel out. So your end answer here is just x plus 2 over 3x plus 2. That's fun. So if you haven't tried one on your own, you should pause this, make sure that you're trying 6 on your own before you come back, and I'm going to have it all factored for you when you come back. So pause the video, cutie pies. All right, so I'm pulling out a negative 2x here. And then all right, the only difference down here, you guys, when we're dividing is that the second fraction flips, because remember, we never divide by a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. Don't divide by a fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. So this flips. So your first step is to flip it, and then to factor everything. So then this equals, take out a 4, factor this, let's see, a positive 3 and a negative 2. This, take out your GCF of an x. Start canceling, those cancel, that cancel, so I have a 3 over a 4x as my answer. So you got to flip your second fraction here. So this just becomes 1 over that. And then we're going to start factoring this. So let's see, it's factor over here. Factors of 24 to get 10 would be 6 and 4. Oh, it can't be right, because that would be a positive 24. So I need a negative 24. 12 and 2. So we're going to do a positive 12x and a minus 2x. So this gives me 4x minus 1 and 2x plus 3. Pull out my GCF here. So the only thing that cancels is those two for us. So what's left on top is 2x plus 3. What's left on the bottom is x times this, which makes x cubed. Okay, if you have not tried any of these on your own yet, now's a good time to pause the video and then come back and check your answers. So I factored and canceled. Down here, I'll do the same. This fraction flips. So if you wanted to rewrite it so you can see what it looks like with all multiplication, I'm going to put this over 1 just because everything else is a fraction. And then I'm going to flip this part. When I flip this, I'm pretty lazy, so I'm just going to go ahead and factor at the same time. So the factors of this is a plus and minus. Remember, you like square root them. So we start canceling, minus 2s, the plus 3s. So on top I have an x left. On bottom I have a 2x minus 3. So down here, pause if you've not yet tried it. I'll put the 4x plus 1 over 1. Flip this. As I'm flipping it, I'm going to do the difference of squares, which is 4x plus 1 and 4x minus 1. Boom.